Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, January 27, 2026 at 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tomorrow night, Wednesday, 28th, or 9:15 p.m. Eastern. What's about to befall? We live, exist, however you interpret it, in a toxic society. And we live in a world which is quite polluted and toxic. Our body is always having to fight off pollutants in the air, the water, food, other people smoking, people's emotions, and the best of all, your own inner mental jargon every day. These toxic substances can hinder or propel your vibration depending on your relationship with them. Our bodies have to spend energy eliminating toxins instead of being able to tap into its vital inner resources, increasing its overall vibration. Even the occasional weekend drinker or smoker will struggle with manifesting their dream life because they have to rebuild their vibration back up each week. If you want to become a super manifesting being who has the vibration of a Buddha or Christ, you'll want to eliminate following toxic list completely from your life. This is what's tough for a lot of people. All alcohol, caffeine, nicotine, illegal drugs, and prescription drugs. If there's anything we've left out, you know deep down what doesn't make you feel truly light, free, and amazing. Now, I believe we would all agree that this is a touchy subject for people, because most people are unconsciously addicted to one of the following, one of those that I've just mentioned, and has some very valid scientific or religious rigid belief system keeping that habit in place. In the event you want to transform your life, this is where it begins. Letting go of what is causing this entire world to live at a lower frequency in consciousness. Why do you think it's all there? Say, we have a lot of things thrown at us, and a lot of times we don't realize it. It's to keep us from truly discovering the power that we are within these bodies. Now, many people on this planet are dealing with personal dis-ease and believe you need to take prescription drugs to be healthy. We, of course, by law, need to tell you to first consult your doctor before eliminating any prescription drug that they've trained you to believe is keeping you in using those drugs. So they've trained people. Yet ultimately, we end up trusting ourselves. We know deep down inside that what will work for us to trust you, not just blindly trust what anybody says, even us, the collective consciousness. So you choose to take the leap of faith, toss out all your toxic vices, replace them with healthy substances such as herbal teas, organic juice, water, fresh air. You start your day by making a cup of herbal tea instead of coffee. Picking up that inspirational book instead of the emotionally toxic newspaper or TV or internet. The drug-induced high from cigarettes, alcohol, or any drug creates a hazy, lazy, vibratory level which takes anywhere from 5 to 30 days to get rid of completely. One crazy night out, once in a while, can be good to loosen up the mind, yet repetitive use turns into addictive dependency on nicotine, alcohol, and drugs, which dampens our connection with our spiritual source of real power. Now, if you're an occasional drinker or smoker who thinks nicotine or alcohol is not that bad for you, think again. Your brain is altered and deeply hypnotized by the effects of these drugs. There are so many negative side effects that last months and even years. You want to make sure you're in a comfortable position. No outside distraction. Relaxed into your body. Still as a statue. Focused on your breath, rising and falling. If you saw the list of all the side effects last all this time, it would terrify you. Toxic substances weaken our natural psychic energy shield that protects us from many of the emotionally disturbing energies found in this society. They create a hazy mindset that has a significant impact on the ability to form results from your manifesting routine. They leave you feeling emotionally vacant, empty, and needy. How many alcoholics or drug addicts do you know that are fulfilled on the inside, are amazing manifestors, and are engaged in healthy relationships they love? You may be wondering how anyone could be addicted to something that only causes harm. Chemical substances create a traffic jam in the brain, momentarily stopping the mind from its normal ego desiring and chattering, and inducing a temporary connection to our source. The repercussion is the hangover, where you come down even lower than before using any drug. This painful stage happens because your body-mind has to tighten to squeeze out the toxicity. The over-tightening causes a lot of stress. And a body-mind without relaxation creates a lack of energy, inability to focus, and a disconnection to your infinite spiritual source. So you connect the dots, you begin to realize, why so much? You may have even asked yourself, why is there so much of this on this planet? Not a little bit, it's massive. If these toxic substances are repetitively leaned on for temporary ego freedom, a major congestion of energy happens in our body-mind. This is like a 100-mile traffic jam that creates such a dense roadblock for any energy you may feel permanently cut off from your connection to your divine source. Repetitive use leads to the manifestation of a physical illness or dis-ease. Freeway is not unplugged. Your system is cleared. It feels like a free-flowing highway where there are no cars on the road. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Charles Darwin. Do we have this process that, and a lot of people don't think about it because it seems to be accepted. Now, what do you think would happen in the event that eventually we were to clean the planet of all of those toxic substances? It wouldn't be a big deal in the event everybody was in heart-mindedness, but it would be a big deal if they were all in ego-mind. It's all about connecting with the divine presence inside of us. It's all about meditation, emotion. And when you look at our, it's all about training and information and passing down information to the next generation. And we share what we've learned, right? We share information that someone has shared with us. And this is how we operate. The only thing is that the information that usually is shared with us, and I'll tell you why, the proof is that we keep repeating this stuff. Can you see that circle of repetition throughout the existence of this civilization? Isn't it repetitious? In a circle? And we have all these routines that we can empower ourselves with. How we eat, what we eat, our detoxification, purification routines, our sleeping and dreaming routines. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And many of us get this, we also have this propensity to look at money as being, how many times you heard people say that it's the root of all evil? And it's actually the opposite. Money is freedom. Freedom to live out your dreams. Freedom to travel this beautiful world wherever and whenever you choose. Jim Rohn. And when we look at this, how much information has been put out there through the ages is that one of the greatest blocks people have about becoming a money magnet is the hidden belief that making money is not spiritual. There's a deep belief in our society which has been planted there through generations that anything man-made cannot be spiritual or connected to the God source. We have been hypnotized to believe that cars, buildings, pavement, street signs are unspiritual things. How can you experience the world as perfect and divine if most of the objects around you are not perceived as spiritual? And the real truth is, everything contains the divine presence, including all the things we humans have built and invented, especially money. The moment we realize that money is just another form of energy, and energy comes from the divine source, you will stop separating it from your life, which most do on this planet. With this new belief, you will have a much easier time allowing money to fill up your bank account or your new ledger account. The word money carries a very unique vibration in our society. Of course, the vibration it has for you will depend on your personal interpretation of it. Your current vibration around money is a byproduct of the beliefs you collected growing up. Think of the experiences you have had in the past with money. What are the belief systems you have generated from these experiences? For many people, the word money is one of the most highly charged words in their lives. Various feelings arise when they hear or say the word money. What happens to you when you hear the word money? How do you feel? What happens to your body's vibration? Do you feel anxious, upset, worried, frustrated, relieved, secure, or excited? If you hold on to any negative feelings around the word money, you magnetize a negative financial situation. This may show up as an experience of debt, theft, loss, a habitually low bank balance, or a struggle to pay the bills. And when I say the buck really stops with us, it does. It either flows or it stops. Now, on the other hand, when you focus on the joy of having a steady cash flow, creating more money, and feeling like you deserve more wealth, you automatically start to manifest more abundance in your life. And when you associate only positive feelings with money, the checks start flowing in. Have you ever noticed how money attracts more money? Someone who is rich tends to get richer, while someone who is poor tends to get poorer. This is due to the habitual feelings each group associates with the word money. Your association with the word money is created over time by the thoughts and feelings you have had about it. Nothing stops the man who desires to achieve. Every obstacle is simply a course to develop his achievement muscle. Thomas Carlyle. All this it vibrates spot on. The first step to become a money magnet is to shift your habitual thinking patterns from scarcity to abundance. This begins by noticing your limiting beliefs. What negative thoughts do you have about money right now? Most people have negative thoughts. Do you have thoughts such as, I will never get out of debt. I need to work hard to pay my bills. We cannot afford that. I'm going to have to have enough to pay my rent. It is because of the bad economy. We need to save now, not spend. You see all that stuff society has produced for us? Each time you hear yourself think a limiting thought about money, we invite you to do the following. Cancel out the thought immediately. Say, cancel, cancel, cancel out loud. Or imagine making a huge red X slashing through the negative thought. And then practice your manifesting dream dialogue around money. Talk about how much money you do have and think about how more money is on its way. For instance, you can proclaim, oh, it feels so good to have that extra $700 to pay my bills. It is amazing how this universe provides money for me right when I need it. I was opening my mail yesterday, and there was this huge check for me. It was exactly $700. We recommend that you stop listening right now, and practice dialogue out loud, a few new expansive thoughts, beliefs around money. Write them down, paste them up. I mean, it is imperative. What are we doing? We're reprogramming across all expanses. When you become aware enough, you begin to reprogram. You say that I can no longer choose to follow this script. Now you have a comparison because by following certain scripts in this society on this planet, you will move yourself into poverty consciousness. The lack of fear, worry, stress, anxiety. And that's what most of the planet is engulfed in. Right? Often the difference between a successful being The failure is not one's better abilities or ideas, but the courage that one has to bet on his or her ideas, to take a calculated risk, to act. Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And yes, there's been all kinds of information throughout the ages. Books, CDs, MP3, all kinds of stuff that you can follow, and religious stuff and everything. But what it really boils down to is our awareness and reprogramming ourselves, one step at a time. Now, had you been taught from the beginning who and what you are, and that you're a God in that body, that your natural state is heart-mindedness and not ego-mindedness. And let's just, for giggles, say everybody on the planet were taught that. There wouldn't be any negatives at all turning money. Zero. As a matter of fact, we probably wouldn't be using it right now. Because we are the abundance. We are the wealth. We create it. Okay? It doesn't, you're just not walking along and you fall into a big vat of wealth. You're the wealth. You're the abundance. You're the magnet to all of it. Or we wouldn't have been able to amass such a massive amount of wealth on this planet for millions of years. So how do you keep the majority from being wealthy? By making sure they believe that there isn't enough for everyone. This is what happens. And then that's embedded in the society, in the civilization, for ages and ages and ages. You go through the ages. If you were able to, and the day will come where you will be able to, where you go and you review past time throughout the ages on this planet. And you get a bird's eye view of what's going on. You hover and listen to people talking and what's going on and everything. You would see the same attitude and perspective of money that you do today. You go back 1,000,000 years. You'd be amazed. This is no different than what it is now, in my time, in the life I am in. And when you realize that you have always been and always will be a naturally abundant being in all things, not just a little bit here, a little bit there, but across the board. Highly abundant beings. I always have said is that we have everything that we will ever need within us for this eternal journey. Does that make sense? Why would we be shortchanged? We never have been. But you could be trained to believe that, right? Your perspective of money is that it's not spiritual, that it's evil, that it's bad. You're not supposed to have, and a lot of the religious texts, you're not supposed to have a lot of money. You're supposed to be poor. Give up everything. Live in a shack. See, it's all been engineered. And once we can discover that, we discover it. Okay? Whatever has been done can be undone. Period. It goes both ways. And your direction is what? You came here to enjoy your life. You came to this planet. You incarnated into a body. And you came here to enjoy your life. Well, to enjoy your life, what do you have? Well, you're wealthy. Okay? You're happy, you're healthy. You learn about physical, the things that you put in your body. You learn about those things. You don't rely on others to tell you. You learn about those things. Okay? And as you learn and experience, then you're able to talk with your body more. You say, body, what do you think of this? Well, I'll try it, see what happens. No, it doesn't work. Body never lies anyway. And we begin to realize that slowly but surely it seeps in that you're an omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant being that never dies, that is, so to speak, in that body. All the other stuff is a mirage. It isn't real. And in its actuality, it's created for our entertainment. But most of us are not aware to the extent of knowing that you would say to yourself as an aware being, I'm creating this. Not in a negative or self-inflicting or judgmental way upon yourself, but in a very kind way of saying, I create all this. Therefore, I can create anything I choose. And that's it. And so, lower dark matter frequencies do whatever they can to convince us that none of that, you don't have any of that. Okay? You don't have any of that power. That's all made up stuff. In actuality, you do. It's who and what you are. You're the God within that body. You're pure consciousness. You create. The reason this planet is the way it is in this very now moment is because of all of us creating. That's why. And many reckless abandon because we're not aware of that. And many don't even believe that we're creating all the time. And then we begin to pull back the layers, one at a time. And we get done with one layer, we pull that back, and we know there's another layer, and there's another layer, there's another layer. Eventually, we run out of layers. And what happens is that we reveal to ourselves who and what we are. The God, the pure consciousness, deep eternal love, joy, bliss, happiness, fun, ease. Okay? And it's a good thing that we create our ego mind, we create it so that we learn. And it's actually a good thing in the direction of saying, okay, so I know what ego mind is. I've had it many lifetimes. But I'm not sure I know what heart mind is. It's the opposite of ego mind. It's always yin-yang. Ego mind is stress, anxiety, and ego mind we will suffer. Absolute, without question, without doubt. And heart mind, we will be at ease. We will learn through heart-mindedness that we can attract anything we choose. It will come to us, and then we embrace it. Or we let it pass by. But how are you taught when you were a child? You were taught information that came from usually your parents, who were taught that from their parents, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. Whether they were taught verbally or by actions, by viewing and watching, or emotionality, all kinds of things. Okay. Now imagine you grow up and not our conventional structure of family. You grow up in a variety. Your exposure is to a variety of people, different perspectives, different attitudes. Okay. Not a commune, but different than what our concept is of family. You may have many different, now we're talking more in a spiritual, okay, much more spiritual. And you have different perspectives from, let's say, a group of men, and you're a child, right, and a group of women. Now, these are all spiritual people, and what does that mean, spiritual people? They've chosen heart-mindedness, not ego-mind. And they move step by step by mastering their ego-mind through their heart-mind, and the ego-mind becomes a tool or a vehicle for them. And they master it. So the ego-mind reports to the heart-mind. And you are no longer the ego-mind slave. It is your servant. You know what I mean? And you remember that the only thing that the ego-mind is searching lifetime after lifetime after lifetime is to find peace. And you imagine how frustrating that is, because peace is not out there, it's within us. And just about all of us have been taught, we were growing up, that peace is out there. And when you look at the planet, you say, how can that be? It seems to be the opposite. And this is how things become at ease, is you discover that you are the peace within. And when you discover that you're the peace within, all the molecules around you are affected, shift. Okay? How much does that affect? Everything. Everything. It's like a ripple. Look at a lake, a body of water, and it's really like glass, right? There's no wind rippling it or waves or anything. Just like glass. And you take a pebble and you drop that pebble into the water. And you'll watch for a bit how the circles of little waves move out from where you drop that pebble. And eventually, you don't see those. But those waves go throughout that entire body of water, just with that one pebble. So we affect the density, the energetic frequency, everything around us by how we feel. We affect everything around us by how we feel. We affect other beings. We affect it all. Now, you may not see it, okay, all of it, but in the beginning, if you're aware, you'll see how you affect everything by how you feel. Now, obviously, if you're not feeling good, you're feeling irritable with yourself or irritable with all kinds of things, and you don't know why. And it weighs you down, it gets heavy. So it causes you to think more and attract more irritability, frustration, whatever it may be. And then you say, why am I feeling this way? It's the ego mind's control factor. It wants you to stay with it. And right now, see, what we have on the planet is we have a lot of activity with the sun. Okay? And so the sun it sends out energies, frequencies, and it causes our magnetosphere to kind of wobble and change and move, and that affects our bodies, which causes us to become short-tempered, irritable, confrontational with ourselves first, and then others. And this is a time where you say, well, I'm choosing to focus on what? Heart-mind. Meditation. That's why we do these meditations. Balance ourselves every day. Keep ourselves in higher and higher and higher vibrational frequencies. And see, none of us on this planet should ever, ever, ever be poor. Ever. It's a choice. Okay? It is a choice, whether you know it or not. Nobody on this planet should even be close to being poor. Actually, the opposite. Or hateful, or destructive, or manipulative, or dishonest, or greedy shouldn't exist. But isn't it amazing when you give certain information out on a continual basis, generation after generation, it becomes the norm. Join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. Easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. Sometimes it just happens that we get caught doing so many things in life that we forget truly to take care of ourselves. At the end of a hard day, we can feel very empty, unloved, and feel like we are lacking something essential. Do not worry. This happens to everyone who is human. Yet, you try to fill that emptiness with something like a substance, an upbeat person, fun activity, a new purchase, or hours of scrolling on your phone, you can feel even more drained, depressed, empty, and lifeless. You know that trying to fill these deep, empty holes with goodies from the outer world never actually works. Sure, it can temporarily make you feel somewhat satisfied, yet the emptiness will soon return. Remember, this is a divine emptiness inside you. Essential part of the great cosmic mystery. So we need something much deeper, bigger, more magical, permanently fill this black hole. And the only thing that works is surrendering to the connection with your infinite spiritual essence. Good to know this essence is always within you. It is easily experienced. Practice accepting these lost, empty parts. Make the light very center of your life again. It's always good to remember that the old intelligent universe, this universe, is so ingeniously designed that it can never make a mistake. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, following morning. We'll return here Wednesday, January 28, 2026, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. And after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our time for change call. Gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Being the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's happening within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow that magic, the deep eternal love, the peace, the joy, the bliss, tranquility, the happiness that come flooding in